The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.
Ballyburn is the 7-4 on favourite for the Novice Chase on the Sunday. He'll be taking on his stable companion in Perry Pass, who's been rerouted from Sandown. JJ Slevin rides for the first time. And Champ Kiley, who there's been a lot of talk about after his New Year's Day victory. Quite a few whispers. There's always been whispers about Champ Kiley, though. A 9-2 shot after he missed nearly a year and a half off the track. Better days ahead. Look, who knows what's going to happen with Gordon. He's gone quiet for this meeting, and if he rocks up with some of his horses, yeah, fantastic. But it's basically the three at the top of the market for the Mullins camp, Peter Michael. So does Ballyburn beat his stable companions in Perry Pass and Champ Kiley? Do you expect last year's Bearing Bingham winner to beat the previous year's Bearing Bingham winner?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ballyburn. I like last time out, I fancied him to beat Sergino because it was Sergino's first run over fences, but obviously the noises that was coming from the Henderson camp, we knew Sergino was a brilliant jumper. And in hindsight, trying to give Sergino £6. And of course, at the time previewing it, we didn't know the Mullins horses. Some of them are going to be underperforming. So that run, I mean, it's not a bad run to finish 7 lines behind Sergino, but it's even better when you know, he was giving him £6 and Mullins horses went firing. It's similar again to the other races. I think he'll win. Is he much value around 8-13, 4-7? He's probably the right price again. You could argue Impaired Pass is the value in the race. So it depends how you want to play it. Depends how you want to play this festival. It's quite tricky for me, as I was saying at the start, because a lot of the horses I fancy, everyone fancies them and the prices are right. Or maybe even a tad short. But yeah, look, I wouldn't back against Ballyburn. I think the world of him, and it'll be good to see him getting back to winning ways, please God, on Sunday. So maybe another forecast here, Ballyburn to beat Impaired Pass. But no, I'm just going to go Ballyburn here. Whatever comes second, but, I don't mind. But he'll be in my muggy Aka or treble or whatever it is for the 2 days.
Well, I completely understand it. I understand it, because for all, George, the talk about, oh my goodness, Ballyburn was so bad against Sergino. Ballyburn got a time form of 165 plus. Imperi Pass got a time form of 159 plus for his Grade 1 win. On RPRs, Ballyburn got a 158 for his Kempton second. Imperi Pass got a 150. So it was a shocking run. Oh my goodness, he's been blown to pieces. But he scored higher on the performance ratings. So does he just go and win?
Yeah, he's going to go and win this 100%. I don't know what people want with Ballyburn. Like, people knocked his his chase debut because, he just sort of fiddled away, didn't show much scope. And then at Kempton, he's been outpaced by a much, much faster horse. He's jumped fantastic up till 2 out. It was the first down the back, and the commentators, and a massive leap from Sergino. Ballyburn stood off it another 4 feet. Like, his jumping kept him in it. His jumping was fantastic. And he's just, I think, where he's turned into straight, he's been at top gear for too long. He's got a bit tired and he's run down the last 2 to his right. That's all he's done. He's still, as far as I'm concerned, until he proves otherwise, he's still the horse we thought he was last year. And he ought to be much too good for these, I think. Imperi Pass isn't a horse I've ever really warmed to. I don't know what it is about him. I was a bit surprised when they were going chasing with him. He didn't really strike me as a chaser. I just think they had already established that he's not going to win a Stayers Hurdle. So why not? Champ Kiley, I'm a big fan of, and I think might get a lot closer to Ballyburn come the festival. But I think probably you could say the same. Champ Kiley, Better Days Ahead, and Croke Park are all out and out 3-milers. They're here in a 2 mile 5 Grade 1 Novice Chase. A, lack of options. And B, they're here to sharpen up their jumping for Cheltenham when they're going to be expected to go proper championship gallop in a Brown Advisory. And this will be great practice for them for jumping at speed come that day. So I think all 3 of those will be closer to Ballyburn on the day, but nothing will get near him on this occasion. if I had to pick one of them, but his price either suggests that they're not running him or he's been overlooked. Can't see why Croke Park is 16-1. Like his form over 2.5 mile, where he beat Hartwood and what was the other horse he beat? Hartwood and was it? It wasn't Firefox.
It was Firefox.
It was Firefox.
Yeah.
It was a tactical affair, but he's got the best form for me at 2.5 mile out of the rest of the horses. So if there's a horse to follow him home, or maybe even follow him home in third behind at Ampere Pass, better days ahead. Won over an intermediate trip, but he beats Slade Steele, who's been very disappointing this year. Doesn't really seem to be taking fences. I think he's a solid horse. He probably should be the price Champ Kylie is for me. Croke Park. He should be about 11-2, and he's 16-1. So again, maybe a forecast, maybe just an each way bet on Croke Park. But the Ballyburn Galopin des Champs double is probably the one to be on. Like, I think they're both rock solid.
Is Willie Mullins going to win this for the 6th time in 11 years, Andy Newton? And if so, is Ballyburn the one to give him another title?
Well, he's definitely going to win it, because I think even if Ballyburn bombs out, he's got the other two, isn't he, in there? But yeah, Ballyburn's the one. I mean, look, the only thing you might cling to is the thing last time. But I think I'll agree with you, Emmet, what you said. I mean, everyone was crabbing the run. But what was it, 7.5 lengths behind Sergino? I mean, that might turn out to be an unbelievable run, really, over a trip that was way too short, as we said. Track was way too tight. Fair play for Mullins for bringing it over, but it was just the writing was on the wall, wasn't it? From early, it's very similar to Lossy Mouth on that same day, wasn't it? Right, and like we all knew what was going to happen, but we just got to hope that this isn't knocked. Ballyburn returns up in trip. We all know what we did at Cheltenham over this sort of trip. And it will just have too much class for them, really. It's a shame Imperial Pass isn't going for the Silly R's, to be honest with you, at Sandown, because it was only taken out of that, I think, yesterday. But, Bromley is still saying that this is their best hope of the whole meeting. But, I mean, they haven't really got much else, to be fair. Got a few others dotted around. But, yeah, I think Ballyburn wins. And then, Champ missed a chunk of the season. Well, it missed the whole of 2024, didn't it? Came back well, but it's a 9-year-old now. You just worry that it's just a tad old. And yeah, I agree with George. Maybe Croke Park should be a tad shorter. Was it 3 from 3 over fences? So course winner as well. So wouldn't be surprised if that nicks a little bit of place money. But hopefully Ballyburn. What is it? 11-4 for the Brown.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being, if it wins this well, be more like closer to sort of 6-4 probably. What you'd be, I don't know. You think? But Dancing City obviously
even money if he wins
this season as well.
I'd say. I reckon he's even if he wins.
Well,
if Imperial Pass goes and wins, it's a very different story. And obviously that 12-1 with Jeff Banks is going to look very, very big if Imperial Pass goes and wins, which is not impossible. He might, and it's worth bearing in mind that last year William Mullins was going to run his 3 best novice chasers against one another. Grange Clare West got injured. Ends up being Factifile and Gaelic Warrior, and the two of them go on to Cheltenham and both win. I think it's highly unlikely a similar scenario repeats this season, but they could end up being first and second in the same race at the Cheltenham Festival. So if you fancy Ballyburn like we all do, the 11-4 with Jeff Banks bet is something you should be taking now, because it's going to be gone. And when it's gone, it's gone.
Does Jeff have any specials like Andy was saying they were giving Mullins? Why did you see that, Andy, that Mullins was 7-2 to win the 8th grade ones?
I don't know. Are we allowed to say other bookmakers on here, Emmet?
Yeah, you can mention them.
We want to be loyal to Jeff. I think it was with our friends Paddy. They had a whole chunk of
good luck getting on that
specials.
one.
Yeah.
Tell you.
You can have as much as you want with Paddy's Punters Casino.
Yeah.
But try and actually get a bet on for horse racing, and good luck to you.
Yeah, you can probably have
Deary me
7-2 or something. But they and what made me laugh is
max stake £2.
1 to 100 Mullins to train one winner at the Dublin Racing Festival
on day one. That's the best 1 to 100 shot ever.
No. One, yeah, what? Look, it's 1
max
to 4.
stake 100.
1 to 4. to train 6 or more Grade 1 winners, right? 1 to 4.
But 7 to 2 to win all the Grade 1s.
Yeah, that's 72 seems big. I can't see it anywhere.
10 to, yeah, I think you have to, there's like a section called Mullins Specials, W Race for specials or something. But yeah, and 10 to 11 to do 7 or more. And then there was loads of others, like 11 to 10, 9 winners in total or something, 9 or more. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I read in the week that it was a lot bigger than that.
There you are, yeah. Willie Mullins to train all, 7 to 2, yeah.
It was more like...
Well... We like Frank Hickey on this show,
anyway.
And Frank is a class act, but if you feel like that's a mistake, you can go punish them for your max stake of £2. And if you want to have a proper bet on Ballyburn to go and win at Cheltenham, Jeff Banks is the man to go to. Jeff Banks, bet 11 to 4 Ballyburn, 12 to 1 in Perry Pass. You can get 14s about Champ Kiley. If you like better days ahead and he rocks up, he's not unlikely to. He's 12s, and Croke Park is a 14 to 1 shot. You can place your bets now with jeffbanks.bet or download the Jeff Banks app. You can stream British and Irish racing for free on the Jeff Banks website and the Jeff Banks app. Best odds guaranteed, money back specials, all that malarkey is in there as well, all the goodies. All you have to do is use your promo code FFP500 and that makes you eligible to get 10% of your net losses back after your first month of betting up to £500. And there is no online casino on the Jeff Banks website. So you will not be bombarded by Jeff for, well, you can't place a bet on the horses, but you can have as much as you want on Paddy's Punters Casino, or various different casino offers. No casino on the Jeff Banks website. It's sports betting and sports betting only, and mainly horse racing.
And that's the way it should be. Fair play to Jeff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He had it, and he got rid of it.
Yeah,
he couldn't stand it. He could not stand it. Jeffbanks.bet. Use your promo code FFP500. Sign up with an actual bookmaker who uses a real trading room and real opinions. To be fair, Frank Hickey is absolutely brilliant. But flutter. All right. Flutter or... Yeah, whatever. Okay, all right. We're moving swiftly along. We're moving along. Oh, my heart might explode. The Tattersalls Ireland Novice Hurdle. Grade 1, Kopek de Boards heads the betting. Now obviously Paul is going to ride him and Mark is going to be on Cade Doughty, but in terms of betting, Cade Doughty 5 to 2. This is who I think is going to win. Redemption Day, couldn't help but notice, has come in for quite a bit of support. Sustained support, 6 to 1 now. Interesting after his bomb out at Christmas. Blue Devassi 8s, Good and Clever 10 to 1 coming over for the Great Tricks Yard. Joystick will have run the day before. Peter Michael, I'm all over Cade Doughty. I'm all over him for the Supreme as well. I'm hoping he will have won this race en route to Supreme victory. But I am getting nervous about this Kopek de Boards.
Yeah, again, he ran on one of the days we couldn't see much. But we certainly saw his jumping was absolutely woeful. In fact, that's probably the worst, or one of the worst I've ever seen a Mullins horse jump. I know it was first time over hurdles, but it was just, you don't see horses from Mullins Yard jumping like that, but incredibly he still won. Obviously he's capable of jumping a lot better than that, and the fact that he still won and beat decent enough animals, Cowabunga's Frank the Form, after just jumping so bad, says a lot about the horse. Obviously he's going to be very, very hard to beat, and I would imagine he'd jump a lot better on Sunday. So, look, he's the one to beat in my mind. Cade, the horse you were saying, Cade Doughty, however you pronounce him. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for fancying him. Nice run in France. Then he came over and had his first run for Willie at Navan. Well fancied, and obviously probably was going to win when falling. And at Leopardstown, I remember he was a massive drifter that day for whatever reason. They couldn't give him away. I don't know if it was because Mullins' horses weren't running well. That probably had a bit to do with it, but there was something else that, for whatever reason, nobody fancied him. The favourites are Menzorak, woefully underperformed. He ran after that, and again, kind of underperformed. Probably just needs a longer trip, but he didn't have a going day that day. Henry's one was second. Craic was third, who's gone on to run well after that, but I don't know. It's a race I can't find any value in. I like Blue Devassi. I think he'll probably place, but he's probably going to find one or two too good. And Redemption Day, as you said, there's money coming for him. He'll have to put a line through his run at Leopardstown. He's obviously much better than that, as his previous form shows. I don't know. I'm a bit lost here. I heard Willie's interview about Kopek the Board just a few days ago. They were talking through a few of his runners, and he was very impressed with the horse, that he still won despite the way he jumped. And he basically said it shows you how good this horse is to win a race at Leopardstown over Christmas and smashing basically every hurdle. So he's probably going to win, because I'd say his jumping will be a lot better. And whilst he's no value in my mind, I think he's the most likely winner. Sorry, Emmet.
No, I completely see it. I understand why. They're both 12-1 with Jeff Banks for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Kopek the Board's 12s, Kate Doughty 12s. I'm all over Kate Doughty. I can't help but notice that Redemption Day was 50s. I have a feeling he was 66s. Because I was looking at this race only a week ago. And he's,
see now, I can't
he's 33-1 with Jeff now. And the thing that I find interesting about this is he's gone 33s for the Supreme, and he's gone 6-1 for this. I don't know, maybe he's pulling a cart at the Mullen stable or something like that. I'm not sure. George Gorman, he certainly has the bumper form to go and do it, but I don't know. It's a wide open Supreme Novice Hurdle. They've been telling us that the Salvatore Mundi is blah, 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 can't be beat, blah, 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 blah. I think Kate Doughty is better, and I think he's going to go and win at the weekend. What do you think?
I think Kopek Day Boards made the hurdling debut that everyone keeps telling me Final Demand made. He went very quick and jumped badly to his left. My problem breaking down this race, like this is probably the horse that wants a hood, if anything.
Yeah.
And my problem breaking this down is what's going to be able to live with him for long enough to take advantage. And Kay Dorothy, I'd have a note of caution on, because I say he fell on hurdle debut over 2 miles, stepped up to 2.5, and went and won that day. But it looks a chaser to me, and I think the hurdle's almost getting his way a bit. So now stepping back down in trip into a Grade 1 gallop to follow a horse like Kopek Day Board, which is going to go quick, I'd worry about his jumping. I really would. And then Fleur de Vassy, I'd really fancy in the Nathaniel Lacey. I can't see why he's here. Like, for me, that horse definitely wants further. Again, I really wanted to find a way to back him for this, but I just don't know that he's going to be able to stay close enough to Kopek Day Board. I think Kopek Day Board is going to get away with it here. If he can stay on his feet, I think he'll probably win. I'll be properly against him at Cheltenham. He's going to end up on the deck at some point if he doesn't brush his jumping up. But I couldn't bet against him here. And the fact you're getting odds against is purely the fact he might end up on the floor. Redemption Day's a bumper horse. I can't see that he'll lay up. I was quickly out of horses to take him on with when I tried. The one I would say, and he is in a handicap hurdle later on the card, Relieved of Duty is a very nice horse going forward, and again, one to have in your tracker. Like, he was beaten the last day by the nice McManus horse and Salvatore Mundi, and those two are very much horses to have on your side going forward. The fact they got beaten the last day means nothing. Like, this Relieved of Duty actually gives me sort of Jerry Colomb vibes. I think up in trip in the future, he's going to be a very nice horse, and he seems to be taking his racing very well, which you couldn't say about Jerry Colomb at the same age. He'd be one to take going forward, but I can't see that any of them are going to be able to have the tactical speed to launch a challenge on Kopek Day Board. So it wouldn't be my idea of a banker, but I couldn't take him on.
There's quite a few bookmakers have gone odds on about Kopek Day Boards, but you can still get 5-4 with Jeff Banks' bet now, Andy. Does he appeal to you? Are you with me with Kate Doughty, or are you with this mysterious maybe there is, maybe there isn't gamble, or maybe not gamble on Redemption Day?
No, I'm not on the Redemption Day thing. I mean, it is interesting. Fair play for picking it up, but I mean, an 8-year-old. I mean, this race generally goes to something a bit younger than that, and no, after how it ran last time, personally, no. The Kate Doughty, I mean, just the fact it fell, really. And I think that line of form with Calvin, that there's a horse that it came second to, that Cocktail Diva, that was blown out of sight by that horse, came third. And I just think, if you take the line of form with Kopech with that same Mullins horse, then yes, it didn't jump. I mean, look, it can't jump any worse than it did last time, can it? Let's be honest. So,
he could.
No, well, maybe, but as we all said, it still jumped shocking. And
Trish, when he falls, clip that out. He can't jump worse.
Clip it out, and we won't do it. Yeah, Mullins has won 11 of the last 12 of this. Corey, the horse that is the Mullins wins. So I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. So Mullins has won 11 of the last 12, but the one horse, the one trainer that was right in the middle of all of them,
Gordon.
He was billed by a certain Matt Chapman as the next coming.
Was it Gordon?
The second coming.
Was it Gordon?
Trained it.
Oh, Sam Crow.
Sam Crow. It's the only horse that has stopped Mullins winning the last 12, I think. So, but anyway, I think he'll do it again. I think Kopech's gonna go in again. I mean, look, it was only about 2 or 3 days ago. I think it was like 9-4, 5-2. This. So the fact that it's been smashed up already, some are going odds on. You say already on it. So
yeah,
that looks a tad short to me, to be honest with you. But we'll see. And like George said, I mean, it's going to have to if it is headed to Cheltenham, which we think it probably will. Maybe the Turners 9-1 for Turners, 14 for the Supreme. It's going to need to brush up his jumping around there, especially.
Maybe it was the fog. He couldn't see properly. Maybe that's why he didn't jump.
Maybe. But 38 days ago, look, they would have done loads on it, loads of work since then. And look, at a bigger price, just throw one in there. Another Mullins one, the Gigginstown, that Carney. I mean, look, and too bad to be true against Romeo Coolio. Don't know if it's running yet. Final decks aren't out. But look, go back to its Tremor win when it was 4-5. Absolutely looked super duper there, didn't it? Made a few early mistakes at Leopardstown over Christmas, but that to me looks massive price at 33-1. You'd be not shocked if that bounces back.
I'd be shocked if he bounces back, and I'll tell you why. This will be his 5th run over hurdles. He'll be qualified for a handicap.
Yeah, good point.
So do you really want to? Sam Crow beat Duke de Ginevra in this race, and I'm sharing this on the screen because of this. Now, first of all, Duke de Ginevra went on to win an Artle, so that was like a massive performance. But when you got to look at Duke de Ginevra's past form, you get 5 races. That's it. And then you're getting this. Don't worry, you can still enjoy the full form for free. Guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, they changed it, didn't they, on Monday or Tuesday? You've got to
sign
it
you have to log in now, yeah.
What are you doing?
300 quid to get the form or something.
I am logged in.
You are?
I'm logged in. What are you doing?
Oh, really?
I don't get it, man.
That's madness. That's madness.
I don't get it.
Ridiculous, really.
I don't get it. Listen, there's the At the Races website, there's the Sporting Life website, there's the Racing TV website, there's the IrishRacing.com website.
Yeah.
You're in a war, and there's
odds checker as well recently, trying to get everyone to pay. Ridiculous.
You just have to go to the incognito window. Not that we would ever use the incognito window for anything other than odds checker, of course. Moving swiftly along to the Dublin Chase. Oh, Gaelic Warrior. Odds on. Good luck with that project after his run at the meeting last year. Maybe he'll go and win. Marie Nationale sustained support for him over the last few days. It's now 2 places, but he's 7-2 with Jeff Banks bet for this race. And Sean Flanagan gave a big interview to the Racing Post, to be fair, where he said he's felt like he's the sub, and now finally he's back on a proper Grade 1 horse. And he is a Grade 1 horse, but is he going to do it over fences? El Fabiolo, 8-1, sent off odds on for the Champion Chase a year ago, and yet he's 8-1 for this. Solness, winner of the Grade 1 at Christmas, which Peter did tell us he wouldn't be shocked if he went and won, and then the horse goes and does it at 25s. What do you make of this race, Peter Michael?
Yeah, it's one of... There's a few races this weekend where I think, Gaelic Warrior is the most likely winner, but is he valued 4-6? No, I wouldn't say he's valued. I'd say he's about the right price, to be honest. I don't know if he'll be going in one of the trebles or Hume I'll be doing. I need to think about it more. Marine National, to me, doesn't look like the horse he was. Obviously, that's a stupid statement. He clearly is not the horse he was, looking at his form. Now, in saying that, he's still run 2 good races after coming back. Or 2 races this season, sorry. But he's still a long way short of the horse he was before injury. That's clear to see. I don't know if he'll ever be the same horse again. Unfortunately for Barry, he probably won't. That's not to say he can't win on Sunday because, first of all, we don't even know what's lining up because we don't have the final decks yet. This field probably cut down maybe to about 4, 5 or 6. So, yeah, look, I think Gaelic Warrior is the most likely winner, but I think, once again, the bookies are not really giving you anything here. So, unfortunately for everyone listening, I have to put him up as the most likely winner. I might put him in one accumulator, but I wouldn't, I'd probably just leave it alone I think he'll win, but the price is tight. Just leave it like that.
That Frank Hickey 7-2 is starting to come under an awful lot of pressure there. I have a feeling Peter's just constantly piling cash onto that through multiple different...
Where would I be able to bet with Paddy Power
exactly,
now? Exactly. Where?
It's like sending out WhatsApps to random friends. Can you
would I
please go into a shop for me? Can you please? Like wear a scream mask or something.
Well, with that 72, this is probably the trickiest race. But Mullins looks good for every other Grade 1.
Well, Hello Neighbour's the other one, isn't it? And
that one. But I think Willie will win that race with one of his. They're the 2 tricky races. You're right, Andy. Yeah,
I think the problem here you've got is that there isn't like a backup, is there? If you are doing that,
this is the tricky one. Yeah,
Grade 1,
and the Hello Neighbour.
If Gaelic bombs out, which as in the past, and you think, well, he hasn't got like a second or third. Elfab. We'll come on to that in a minute.
What are you talking about?
What? You like Elfab, do you?
He's going to win.
Now, I'll tell you what it will do. He'll win at Cheltenham, potentially, in the Ryanair. Back to file doesn't go there. I'm not sure about Sunday, but we'll see.
He has run 4 times off a break of 60 days or more. He's won 3 and placed in the other. He is 2 from 2 at Leopardstown, and he's won 3 of his 4 starts on soft ground. He will win first time out. Go on, JJ. Ride him with confidence. Go do it. You're taking on a psychopath. You're taking on an asthmatic in Marine National. I can give him my inhalers beforehand if that'll help. And by the way, I hope he bounces back because I'm a big fan of Barry Connell and I really like Sean Flanagan. I think he's a fantastic jockey. So best of luck to them, but not at 7-2. If he was a bigger price, I'd have backed him. Gaelic Warrior at odds on, no. So the only other logical bet is El Fabiolo. Oh, don't all agree with me at once. Whatever you do.
Well, do you want me to see what?
They're all like, this guy's lost his mind entirely.
I'm with you, Emmet. So do you want me
the reason I'm not, I keep quoting bloody Anthony Bromley at the moment, right? But again, he came out about Elfab and he said, look, it's a bit fresh. It's going to need the run. It's nice to get him back before, get a run into him before Cheltenham, where we will think about stepping him up in trip, which then is the clue for the Ryanair, 8-1 for the Ryanair. And as I said before, that race could cut up massively. Yes, Factor File could end up there, and then, that will definitely be favourite. But if it doesn't, and it runs all right on Sunday, 8-1 for the Ryanair.
He's never... He doesn't strike me as a horse who wants to go up and trip, and his jumping
maybe that's to do for his jumping, maybe to try and get him to jump better.
Yeah, but if the jumping's bad, the jumping's just bad. That's not going to be fixed. I'm pretty certain he just made a bad mistake in the Champion Chase, and then his confidence was shook on ground that was too fast for him, and they probably rushed him back. And if it was any other season, they wouldn't have run him, but Willie was going for the championship.
But which is at Sandown, where he supposedly ran so bad, he ran to an RPR of 169.
Thank you, George.
Gaelic Warriors Arkle win. Streets ahead of everything he's ever done. I've got it down here. So look, before Cheltenham, El Fabiolo. Before Cheltenham, he recorded 4 successive 170 plus RPRs. Even at Sandown, he ran to 169. Bar Gaelic Warriors Arkle success was 172, which looks on the high side in hindsight. I think it might be a bit of an exaggeration. His highest RPR is 159. Beyond that, on his seasonal reappearance last year, El Fabiolo, again, we were told he was underperformed. He wasn't that impressive. He recorded an RPR of 174. I think it's going to be the case here. Gaelic Warrior, even if he has to turn up in his Arkle form to win this, and he's not going to be in his Arkle form around Leopardstown. He hates the place. I say maybe last time his tendency to jump right was exaggerated a bit by the fact he had Solness on his right-hand side the whole way, sort of leading him out to his right. But he's not a 4-6 shot against a horse that seems to knock him 170 performances for fun, who's had one bad day. And realistically, who knows what he would have run to if he wasn't pulled up? He probably would have still run to a mark in the mid-160s. Even if he's left a bit to do with him, I think El Fabiolo should be joint favourite for this. Should be joint favourite, and he's 8-1.
He was beaten 4 lengths by John Bon.
At a track where John Bon excels.
Exactly. This is insane. And all it's coming down to...
Would you not be worried that the price is too... Because the price is too good to be true. I definitely see where you guys are coming from.
Yeah.
Have you seen the SPs of Willie Mullins winners at this meeting over the last few years?
Well, that's true, but this is different because this is an exposed horse. A lot of the ones probably you're talking about, like Dancing City, for example, was quite unexposed. Because what you lads are saying is bang on. I mean, 8-1 just looks massive in this field. I mean,
Gentleman to me won this for him a couple of years ago at whatever price.
If you worry it's too good to be true, you'll probably only get 2 places. You can back him each way at 8-1.
Is he definitely running? Was that?
Second, you'll get.
JJ
Slevin was interviewed on the Nick Luck podcast this morning about him, so I'd say they're intending on running him.
What did he say?
He's definitely running. He's going to get running before Cheltenham.
He was. I think he described him as a monster because obviously you wouldn't have sat on him before. I imagine.
Yeah.
And he was very, very pleased with him. But I think he's always been quite a good workhorse, obviously with champion chaser. But I think it's interesting. The vibes coming out there are a lot more positive now than they were a month ago. I think Ruby Walsh was speaking on our mates, the Paddy Power podcast, saying that he wasn't sure if he would get a run in for Cheltenham.
He's definitely running so. He's definitely running so.
He's saying he didn't think he was even going to get here, and now the vibes are really positive. I'd say he's come on a bundle really fast.
Yeah,
I think he's a mad price, and I think it's probably it's the Richie Silks, it's the younger horse, I don't know what it is, but people love Gaelic Warrior. He goes off too short just about every time he runs. Apart from the Arkle, really.
There is a concern for me, and the concern is Willie Mullins' interview with Emmet Kennedy. He didn't sound massively confident there, and he was saying he'd been difficult to get right. But it's Willie Mullins at the Dublin Racing Festival with the horse having his seasonal debut, who ran to an RPR of 174 on seasonal debut last year, and Gaelic Warrior was a career best of 172 in the Arkle, and bombed this day a year ago, and he's odds on.
The fact is, unless Gaelic Warrior runs to his Arkle form here, which seems highly unlikely, El Fabiolo can underperform by £10 and beat him.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, if they both turned up in top form, there's only one winner. Absolutely only one winner. El Fabiolo.
So have we convinced you? Have George and I convinced? And George has been far more compelling than me. But basically everything George has said, I have here.
Well, to be honest, the way I look at that is you couldn't let him run at that price without backing him. You'd have to.
No.
Because I think Marine National is not the same horse he was.
Yeah,
that's not to say he won't win. The race might fall into his lap. But the price is wrong. But I'm worried if it's... I mean, we're talking about a horse we haven't seen for 281 days. So bookmakers are going to know a lot more about his well-being than we are. So
can Willie Mullins get a racehorse fit first time out?
Oh, no, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just got to do with... I mean, Powers are sitting there. Anyone is sitting there laying that horse at 8-1. it's just
What
it's too,
price?
look,
what price was Gaelic Warrior sent off last year at the DRF?
Oh God, sure.
against which what race was that one? No, that wasn't.
He was sent off 7-4 on. And I got a WhatsApp from a friend of mine who was in a bookmaker and heard one of the broadcasters go, "Sure, this fellow only has to stand up. This thing's a certainty." They don't have a clue what they're talking about, these fellas. They don't have a notion. Frank Hickey knows what he's talking about. And if you actually listen to what they talk about, a lot of the time they're just guessing at what Ruby is saying. And with the greatest of respect, you think about Ruby's position. Ruby Walsh is working for one of the best trainers in the world. Is it his job to be telling us what Willie Mullins is telling his owners when Willie Mullins keeps all of his plans fluid? Absolutely not. And he shouldn't be telling that confidence. It is not his place to tell us where Ballyburn is going at the Cheltenham Festival when Willie Mullins hasn't even decided. So, but that was the narrative that was coming out on that podcast last year. Oh, he's going for the Supreme. Oh, don't even think about it. He was never maybe he was going for it, but that's not where he ran. And if George and Katie and I speculate that Factifile is going to go for the Turners and ends up in the Brown Advisory, guess what? We don't work for Willie Mullins. So it's a very, very different thing. So I think I would.
Gaelic Warrior was going Arkle though.
Yeah, you were right, and you were right. And I remember laughing at you at the time. I remember thinking he wouldn't even go to Cheltenham. But look, this is a price thing again. El Fabiolo 8-1. Fill your boots.
If you back Gaelic Warrior, odds against going left-handed.
Oh, you must hate money. If you're backing Gaelic Warrior at odds on for this race, you must hate money. And best of luck to you. Maybe he goes and wins. And he might. But at odds on? Irish Champion Hurdle. Lossiemouth. 15-8 on. Will Paul Townend be on board? State Man continues to shorten. 7-4. He was 9-4 with Jeff Banks yesterday. 7-4 now. And it's whatever price you want about the rest. Winterfog 12s, Daddy Longlegs 25s. He'll make the running. Phil Dudery was in action against Constitution Hill the other day, but maybe he'll turn up for more prize money. Is it a guarantee that Paul Townend rides Lossiemouth, Peter? Because the more I look at this market, the more I can't help but notice State Man continues to shorten.
Well, I think we spoke about this last week, and I said I wouldn't be surprised at all if you picked State Man. I'm really not sure who he's going to pick, but I think the mare's allowance will swing it, and I think he'll go for Lossiemouth, and I think Lossiemouth will come on top. But again, the prices are probably spot on, 4-7, 7-4, so there's not much value there. I think what we can safely say is this is definitely a two-runner race, so at least, it's not where you're getting 4-7, 5-4, you're getting 4-7, 7-4, so at least the odds is fair in that way. I think he'll go for Lossiemouth because of the mare's allowance. And at the end of the day, there was excuses for Kempton. A lot of Mullins horses haven't fired over there. And at the end of the day, she's only beaten 2.5 lengths by Constitution Hill. How can you argue with that? So, I think he'll go for Lossiemouth, and I think she'll win.
On a track that probably didn't suit her, with the pace cut out by a horse considered good enough to go and take on Kiprios, who made all the running, won by a horse who was winning the Christmas Hurdle for the third time.
Sharpen her up as well.
Yeah, and that's another point. Yeah. She will now. That was her first ever run over 2 miles in open Grade 1 company, and she'll now learn. Yeah. Oh, I have to go faster. That being said, if this is a scumbag each way lucky 63 race, then the simple bet is State Man. He's odds against George. I don't like the fact that he continues to shorten, but at the prices, you just back him to win his third Irish Champion Hurdle.
Yeah, this is almost copy and paste my logic from the last race, to be honest. State Man massively underperformed last time when Willie's, seemed very hit and miss. He was on RPRs, he was £25 lower than his reappearance, £17 below his best. Meanwhile, we're told Lossiemouth underperformed, and her RPR was £1 higher than her reappearance and just £4 below her best.
Yeah.
You look at the figures, even accounting for the mare's allowance, Lossiemouth, if they're both at their best, Lossiemouth have to improve £5 to beat him. And given State Man's reappearance was actually perfectly in line with his previous season's reappearances, like mid to high 160s, I think you've just got to forgive the last run from State Man and just go. He ought to be the better horse, and certainly back on slightly softer ground, like on the hurdles track. I think it's a bit softer there. I just think State Man's the bet. He's odds against. You're getting odds against on a 9-time Grade 1 winner and a champion hurdle winner versus a horse that's going to have to improve to beat him on all known form, which she might do. But the prices, I've got to stick with what we know and trust he's going to bounce back.
Yeah, I think he doesn't need to do a whole lot to get his 11th Grade 1 win here. And if he comes back to the level of form he showed against Brighter Days Ahead on his seasonal debut, Andy, then he will make Lossiemouth go one hell of a gallop here. And I would imagine Danny Mullins will be the one on board. And if Danny is, he's going to be out in front. He'll get first run. Paul and Lossiemouth, yeah, but they're going to have to chase him down. And that's not going to be easy.
And Danny Mullins rides sound like no one else as well.
Chef's kiss.
I think we talked about it in the last one, didn't we? I mean, we look back on their both of them, Lossiemouth and State Man, and Townend's literally ridden all of their runs, barring one each, I think. So, he is loyal to both of them. And I think personally, I mean, look, last week I was like, look, he's going to ride Lossiemouth, bang. But I don't know. I just think that the fact that State Man, the price is coming in a bit, I would not be surprised to see him ride State Man, personally. No, I just think I wouldn't be surprised. Because, look, do you think? I don't know. I just think there's been a bit of talk about it.
I would just love it if he did. It'd be so funny if he did.
I think there's a massive chance that he will. I mean, look, we don't know. Look, there's only a few people that know. And maybe he hasn't made his mind up yet. Who knows? But I just think that champion hurdle winner, obviously, 2-time winner of this race. And I just think it's all a shot to nothing, in this race. He can then go to the Donnellys and go, look, I was loyal. It bombed out. Now I'm jumping ship to Lossiemouth in the champion hurdle. No. If State Man does win, then he'll stay in the champion hurdle, and then he'll have the added bonus that Lossiemouth will then go to the mares, and he'll end up riding both of them anyway. So I just think that if he thinks about it, the Donnellys, if State Man bombs out, they can go, well done, you stayed loyal, off you go, I don't mind. I mean, it might not even run the champion hurdle with State Man runs like it did last time. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, if State Man runs like it did on debut against Brighter Days Ahead when it only just got chinned, then yeah, it's going to take a lot of beating. With the mayor's allowance, it's still a pound in hand, and so on and so on. So we'll see. I mean, look, the betting could be quite interesting. Tomorrow, I think we know the jockeys. Maybe the decks will come out. If Townend does get jocked up on State Man, we'll see what happens to the prices a little bit. But it seems to be going that way already, I think, personally. But regardless of that, I think the percentage call is Lossiemouth. I don't know whether, Peter, were you Lossiemouth? I can't remember. But
yeah, I just think the mayor's allowance, I don't think there'll be much between them, but the £7 I think will be crucial.
I just think based on that last run, then for State Man, yeah, regardless of the jockeys, I'm still with Lossiemouth, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah,
he has a £1 advantage with the weight allowance.
That's it.
Danny Mullins coming down to the last, and it's Danny Mullins and State Man, and he can't be caught. State Man goes and went the yard. State Man went the yard. Some Jerry Hannon screaming and roaring. And Lossiemouth sent off to the mayor's hurdle.
Lossiemouth's got more improvement, surely. No, Lossiemouth, like State Man, we know where we are with State Man, don't we? That's not improving anymore, is it? Right? Lossiemouth, there's still more to come there. Personally,
just bear in mind.
She was a like very good juvenile. I suppose they have got it down on official ratings, the career best the last time. There's more to come. You bear in mind she started a lot earlier. She's a different sort of horse.
I've heard State Man wallops around the gallops, but bear in mind,
they seem to be very confused how well she's still doing. They seem to be constantly thinking she's reached her peak, and then she just keeps doing the business on the racecourse.
But bear in mind, what a horse does in the gallops and what a horse does in a race are two different things. Yeah. And I was told when Hurricane Fly was going for his 5th Irish Champion Hurdle, There was somebody who had info from the Mullins yard, and they were absolutely adamant there was no way he could win. He couldn't possibly win. And that man's face when Hurricane Fly won his 5th Irish Champion Hurdle was quite the sight. And I ignored all of that nonsense because I love that horse so much. So, hard to know. Like, if they all knew,
hard to know, yeah.
if they all really knew, there'd be no such thing as a betting market. That's the great thing about it. And that's the great game. But I think Stateman at 7-4 is just a stupidly big price at this point. And if it turns out tomorrow morning, most people who are watching and listening to this are going, guys, you're talking about something we already know. Like Paul Townend's chosen Lossiemouth. And this conversation is completely academic. But if it turns out Townend is jocked up on Statement, what a laugh. And by the way, Paul, Danny Mullins won on Lossiemouth on her debut.
Here's an interesting question. Sorry to cut through. What would you price it if you're putting a book on who he rides?
Jesus. I think the percentage call is he will go. He's going for his 3rd Irish Champion Hurdle. Is it 5-4? Just slightly. It's a coin flip, and it's slightly odds again. Maybe 5-4 he rides State Man, but odds on that he's going to ride Lossiemouth.
Well, just do what the bookies do on a coin flick, and they both go into 11.
6-5 on each of two.
Yeah. 6-5 on both.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, exactly. 10-11.
Speaking of which, we get to actually see that in a couple of weeks in the Super Bowl. When you see the Super Bowl, you can bet on the coin toss, and both will be odds on.
Yeah, 6-5 on. They both will be.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Man.
It's madness.
Some crack. Okay. Any other business for the Dublin Racing Festival?
I got a couple I just mentioned. Money for Good Time Johnny on day one would be interesting, but might be a forlorn cause at this point. Aspire Tower running in the handicap hurdle on day 2 off 144. He's a lot better than that now. It's just how much is left in the tank. But I wouldn't let him go off. He's a huge price. I think he's 33s. He's a proper animal. They thought of him as a champion hurdler at one point at the Bromheads. Like I say, it's all the wheels have fallen off a bit, but he ran very well first time out last in October when he beat Eagle Fang. Seems to be stringing a few runs together. I think sending him off 33-1 would be criminal. I'd have to back him little each way on that. But the main one, and I'd call him a passion project rather than a cliff horse, is Rian returning to the Grade 3 handicap. He's currently 20-1. He's £4 lower than when finishing second in the race last year. Last year, he got beat by Hartwood, who ran off 136. He was receiving weight from him thanks to a £5 claimer, but was essentially rated £1 higher than Hartwood on the day. Like, there's nothing that's that well in, surely, in amongst this lot this year. And if you actually watch Rian at Cheltenham in the plate, he was actually running a very good race. He nearly fell 4 out and his chance was gone. And he looks like he's been campaigned steadily with an eye to coming back here again. Off a lower weight, I think he's a really, really good bet at, what did I say he was? Is he 25? 20s. Yeah, I think he's a really good bet at 20s, Rian.
Okay. Andy Newton, your naps for the weekend.
Naps. Well, before I get onto that, I think you should go just real quickly on Saturday, because Nichols, right, he loves that meeting, and it's just keeping up. Look, his horses have been out of form. We've been talking about it for weeks and weeks on this now. But 4 winners up there last year over the 2 days. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for it. You've got one called Affordale running in the Scottish County Hurdle. Won it last year. I think it's £4 lower this year. Freddie Ginger was on it. I think it won at the meeting the year before as well, 2023.
Yeah.
And he, like I say, up there, even though his horses are a little bit iffy-diffy at the moment. So, yeah. And look, it's nice to see Harry Derham bringing that Queen's Gamble over, hopefully for that Mayor's handicap hurdle on the Sunday at Leopardstown, and
Rachel Wright.
Got a lot of weight. But yeah, and he had a winner. He eventually had a winner, didn't he? In the week, he had a massive barren spell, and he got one, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday or something, at Newcastle. So that will be one to watch. And Walsh has got one in there, which I quite like, a massive price. That I can't pronounce it. It's got crazy Irish name. It's like Grey Cool or something like that. But he loves Leopardstown. Grey Cool, yeah. I think it was second to Maxim in a separate race here last year. It's up £4 from that, but it's just, its form at Leopardstown is fairly decent, 3-9-1-1-2. So I think, ran at Navan last time out, but he should be all right for this one. Big price, I think. And I think Rachel being booked to ride the Harry Derren one, Queen's Gamble. I might be getting that wrong.
Yeah,
Rachel's riding that, so that's another plus. They're in the same race, but yeah. Anyway, nap of the weekend, I'll probably just do a little double. Madgeborough and Galloping pays about 6-4, 7-4.
Okay, all right.
Because I think we can't nap one of them on their own. They're silly prices, aren't they?
I would not be questioning that at all. Peter, your naps for the weekend?
Yeah, I'll have a good few I'm interested in this weekend. There's a few I haven't really put the work into because they're not in the grade ones. But there's a few here. I'm looking at my tracker. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'll definitely be picking out some sort of treble or something with the Mullins horses to try and make that cover the betting for the weekend. But if I was picking apart, staying away from those short price horses, maybe in Saturday at Weatherby, the 1 o'clock Jumper Madrick. The price mightn't be great for that, but that will win if it wants. And on Sunday in Leopardstown in the Premier Handicap, I like Old Man Dingle. He's running in the 350s, about 12 or 14 to 1. I was very impressed with him winning over Christmas. I couldn't believe the way he won, pulling so hard. Very competitive handicap, very, very competitive. But I'm sure the type of horse that'll be a nice price, even bigger, given, he doesn't have fancy connections. So yeah, he'll Saturday, Jumper Madrick and Old Man Dingle on Sunday. But as I said, I'll have a lot more. And if anyone wants to get into my group, just fire me a message on Twitter. It's well worth it. We've been firing in the winners at massive prices, and I'm going to continue to do so, hopefully.
Absolutely. At Peter Michael on X for more information. And if you're not following by now, well, I really don't know what to say to you, but you should be taking full advantage, particularly after 40 to 1 and 22 to 1 winners in the last week. And he really should have had a 66 to 1 winner on this show. How that horse crumbled on the last, I'll never know.
Well, I think his odds was a little bit less.
Yeah,
I don't want to make myself.
Yeah, I'd put him up though at that price.
We put him at 40 to 1. Well, I mentioned him at 40 to 1 for Cheltenham, but they ran him in Doncaster walking in there, and then I posted a message on the
you put it on the YouTube comment,
to let viewers know that he was running in Doncaster. I'm still sick about that. That would have been another way at 16 to 1. A lot of my followers were waiting on that. Well, there was another one to follow after that, but that cost them 10, 20 grand for small money. Back in the horses I fancied that day, yeah. So okay. We'll get them one day soon.
We'll get them this weekend. Back me or sack me. Soft ground, 225. Everyone's talking about Meeting of the Waters. Yeah, good luck with that project. He might go and win. Back me or sack me. Conor Clark claiming £7 for Emmet Mullins. And the former owner of Meeting of the Waters, Paul Byrne. I think he'll be significantly shorter than that, and I hope he goes and wins. And the nap, statement, El Fabiolo. El Fabiolo's the nap. That 8 to 1 is too big. It's too big. Paul Townend is on state, man. Oh, me some crack. All right, that's it from Peter Michael, George Gorman, and Andy Newton. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It was a longer episode. Do you have something for us? Do you have something for us, George? Quick.
Here's a question.
Can I give my nap?
Yeah, of course.
I'm glad you said El Fabiolo because I was tempted. Ballyburn's too short. My nap's going to be Rian in the handicap. I've actually seen they've made James de Burley favourite, and he beat him last year. He's £7 better off with him this time round. James de Burley's 11-2. Rian's 20 to 1. The price is wrong. So I'm going to go with the 20 to 1 nap is Rian in the handicap chase on Sunday.
Let's
just one thing, Emmet, before you go. That race that I put up, Old Man Dingle, when I was just glancing through it, I looked at the favourite, Brave Troop. Paul Byrne owns it. And then I looked at the trainer, Charles Burns, some combination.
Yeah.
Charles Burns and Paul Byrne. Together at last, the stars have aligned.
They're on fire.
Right, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Final Furlong podcast. If you did, likes are much appreciated on YouTube. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and tune in all the good podcast apps, some of the rubbish ones as well. From Peter Michael, George Gorman, Andy Newton, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's a bit of crack. I hope you enjoyed the DRF. We'll talk to you next week. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.